Have you ever looked at a photograph of yourself from 10 years ago and felt a strange sense of dislocation? The face is familiar, yet the person seems like a stranger. The world they lived in, their hopes, their fears, now feel like a story you once read. Where did that person go, and where exactly has the time gone? We live in an age of constant motion, of notifications and endless scrolling, where decades can feel like they collapse into a single, blurry memory. We often feel as if we are living on a high-speed train, watching our own life flash by the window with no way to slow it down. We ask ourselves, are we living in time, or is time living inside us as a relentless, consuming force? This feeling, this question, is not just a modern anxiety. It is the fundamental human predicament. And the great wisdom traditions have been trying to solve its riddle for millennia. They have a secret to share, a key that doesn't stop the train, but allows you to step off it entirely. The sages of the ancient world looked deeply into this phenomenon. In the great epic, the Mahabharata, a wise king is told a stark truth. Time cooks all beings. Time annihilates all people. Time is awake while all are asleep. Indeed, time is hard to overcome. This isn't meant to be a pessimistic statement. It's a diagnosis. It's an honest look at the reality of our phenomenal existence. Everything we see, everything we touch, our very bodies and minds, are subject to this cosmic cooking. This is the process we call aging. It is the inescapable law of the manifested universe. The fear that arises from this, the fear of aging, the fear of death, is not a personal flaw. It is the logical consequence of identifying ourselves completely with that which is being cooked by time. If you believe you are only the body and the mind, then the cooking of time is a terrifying terminal process. But what if that identification is a mistake? The Vedantic seers proposed a radical idea. They suggested that our experience of time is not objective, but is entirely dependent on our state of consciousness. They pointed to the three states we all experience every single day. First, there is the waking state. Here, time feels linear, sequential, and governed by the clock. A minute is a minute, a day is a day. We make plans, we remember the past, we anticipate the future. This is the world of cause and effect, of appointments and deadlines. Time appears as a straight road stretching behind us and in front of us. Then, there is the dream state. The moment we fall asleep and begin to dream, the tyranny of the clock shatters. Time becomes fluid, elastic, and deeply personal. You can live an entire lifetime in a dream that lasts only a few minutes of clock time. You can meet people from your past, present, and future, all in the same room. The linear road of time twists into a chaotic, beautiful, and sometimes terrifying labyrinth. The past can be changed. The future can be now. This proves that the mind has the capacity to experience time in a completely different, non-linear way. And finally, there is the state of deep, dreamless sleep. What is your experience of time in this state? It is a complete and utter blank. When you are in deep sleep, there is no yesterday, no today, no tomorrow. You are not worried about the future or regretting the past. The 8 hours between your head hitting the pillow and your alarm going off do not exist as an experience. For the consciousness in that state, it is an absolute void of time. So the question becomes inescapable. If our experience of time dramatically shifts and even disappears depending on our state of consciousness, can time truly be the rigid, external, absolute reality we assume it is? Or is it a projection of the mind itself? This ancient insight finds a fascinating echo in the most advanced corners of modern science. Before the 20th century, physics, through Sir Isaac Newton, saw time as a universal constant, an arrow that flew at the same speed for everyone, everywhere. But then came Albert Einstein. His theory of relativity completely dismantled this idea. He showed that time is relative, it is elastic, it can be stretched and compressed. An observer traveling near the speed of light would experience time much more slowly than a stationary observer. Clocks in strong gravitational fields, like near a black hole, tick slower than clocks in weaker gravity, like on a satellite in orbit. This effect, known as time dilation, is not theoretical. The GPS in your phone has to be constantly adjusted to account for the fact that time is literally running slightly faster for the satellites in space than it is for us on the ground. The scientific revolution of the 20th century confirmed what the mystics had been saying for thousands of years. Time is not a fixed backdrop to the universe, but a pliable dimension that is intertwined with the observer's frame of reference, or as the yogis would say, the state of consciousness. If the waking, dream, and deep sleep states are three different frames of reference, each with its own unique relationship to time, the Upanishads ask us to consider a fourth possibility. This is the state they call Turiya, which simply means the fourth. But it is not a fourth state in sequence. It is not something that comes after deep sleep. It is the very substratum upon which the other three states appear and disappear. It is the screen on which the movies of waking, dreaming, and sleeping are projected. It is pure, silent, unmoving consciousness. It is the witness. The Mandukya Upanishad describes this fourth state by saying what it is not. It is not the inward-turned consciousness of the dreamer, nor the outward-turned consciousness of the waking person, nor the undifferentiated mass of consciousness of the deep sleeper. It is described as the cessation of the phenomenal world. And the phenomenal world is, by definition, the world that exists within time, space, and causality. To be the cessation of that world is to be utterly beyond time. It is described as trikalatita, that which transcends the three divisions of time, past, present, and future. Let us use an analogy to make this clearer. Imagine a vast, ancient banyan tree. This tree represents your life in the world. The strong, gnarled trunk and its sprawling branches are your physical body. When it is a sapling, it is young and flexible. As it grows, it becomes strong and powerful. Over centuries, it becomes weathered, scarred, and ancient. It clearly shows the passage of time. The leaves on this tree are your thoughts, your emotions, and your daily experiences. New green leaves sprout. These are your joys, your fresh ideas, your new relationships. They are vibrant for a season, but then they turn yellow, wither, and fall. This represents sadness, loss, memory, and the constant flux of your mental and emotional life. The entire tree, with its deep roots anchoring it to the earth, and its aerial roots dropping down to create new supports, is a complex living record of cause and effect, of birth, growth, decay, and death, all unfolding within the framework of time. Now, I ask you a question. What is the one thing that has been with this tree for every single moment of its 1,000-year life? From the moment it was a tiny seed, to the day its last branch falls, but has not itself aged by a single second? The answer is the sky. The sky is the space in which the entire drama of the tree's life unfolds. The sky witnessed the seed, it watched the sapling struggle and grow. It held the tree through countless seasons, through droughts and monsoons, through the brilliant light of day and the total darkness of night. Clouds, which are like our passing moods and fleeting thoughts, drift through the sky but they do not stain it. The sun, representing the waking state, the moon, representing the dream state, and the starless darkness, representing deep sleep, all appear within the sky. But the sky itself is unchanged by any of them. It is the vast, silent, eternally present, and motionless witness. Turiya, the fourth state, is that sky. For your entire life you have been identifying with the tree. You have worried about every falling leaf. You have feared every storm that might break a branch. You have felt pride in its height, and shame in its decay. The entire wisdom of Vedanta is a gentle, compassionate invitation to shift your perspective. It asks you to realize that you are not the tree. You are the sky. The body, like the tree, is born in time. It lives in time, and it will perish in time. But you, the true self, the silent witness, are the timeless, spaceless reality in which the entire story of the tree takes place. The tree ages. The sky does not. Realizing this is the knowledge beyond time. This isn't just an abstract philosophical concept. We have glimpses of this in our modern lives. The psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi extensively researched a state he called flow. This is a state of complete absorption, of being in the zone. Artists, athletes, programmers, musicians, anyone deeply engaged in a complex task reports this experience. During flow, the sense of self seems to dissolve, and with it, the sense of time. Hours can feel like minutes. The internal chatter of the mind about the past and future simply ceases. There is only the pure, timeless present moment of the activity itself. This is a psychological echo of the eternal now that the sages speak of. It's a temporary, secular glimpse into a state where consciousness is freed from its self-imposed prison of time. The great sages of the Tamil tradition expressed this ultimate freedom in their own powerful ways. The Saint Patanetha, a master of dispassion, pointed to the surrender of the ego, which is the very mechanism that creates and binds itself to time. He wrote, "There is nothing that is my action anymore, O divine. I have realized that all action is yours." This is the surrender of the time-bound individual will to the timeless divine will. The mystic Thiramula was even more direct, declaring, quote, "We have conquered time, we have crossed the terrible hell," realizing that all things of the world are illusory. For him, conquering death and conquering time were one and the same, and the method was to realize the eternal reality behind the impermanent world. Perhaps most accessibly, the great sage Ramana Maharshi gave us the most direct path. He taught that the very sense of I, the I thought, is the root of all other thoughts, including all thoughts about past and future. Time, he said, is a creation of this ego mind. By persistently asking the question, who am I? One traces this I thought back to its source. That source is the heart, the timeless self, the pure silent awareness of I am, which is nothing other than Turiya. For Ramana, the past and future are illusions. The only reality is the eternal now, and to abide there is to be free. This understanding doesn't just offer individual liberation from fear. It has profound implications for how we build a more compassionate society. Our modern world often worships youth, speed, and productivity. This leads to a pervasive and cruel prejudice: ageism. The elderly are often marginalized, seen as a burden, their value diminished because their bodies are past their prime. This creates a culture of fear, where we frantically try to hide the signs of our own aging, and a culture of disrespect, where we fail to see the value in our elders. The wisdom of the timeless self completely dismantles this prejudice. If the true essence of a person, their awareness, their self, is untouched by the passage of time, then a person's worth is not dependent on their age or their physical abilities. The body of an 80-year-old and the body of a 20-year-old are simply different stages of a temporary costume. The inner light, the consciousness that shines through, is the same eternal, ageless reality. This realization fosters a deep reverence for the elderly, not from a place of pity for their frailty, but from a place of genuine respect for the timeless self that shines within them, as brightly as it does within a child. It changes our interaction from caring for the old to communing with the wise. So the next time you look in the mirror and see a new wrinkle or a gray hair, you have a choice. You can identify with the tree and feel a pang of fear, a sense of loss for the youth that is fading. Or, you can smile, with the deep and profound wisdom of the sky. You can acknowledge the changes in the beautiful, temporary form that is your body, while resting in the unshakable peace of who you truly are. The silent, loving, and eternal awareness in which all of life, all of time, and all of aging gracefully unfolds. The goal is not to stop the clock from ticking for the body. The ultimate freedom lies in discovering that part of you for which the clock never began to tick at all. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If this exploration of consciousness and time resonated with you, I invite you to subscribe to I Have a Cause for more content that bridges ancient wisdom and modern life. For our Tamil-speaking audience, please know that a Tamil version of this episode is also available on the channel, offering these truths in their original cultural resonance. Be well.